What's up, everybody? What's up? This is Harry Bernard Taylor with the Straight Up Wrestling Podcast Show. I'm here to do another solo run. We're going to run down NXT today. And right now, I'm sitting in the parking lot in my hometown of Greenville, South Carolina. It's been raining, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do this show in the car, in the rain, man. You know, hey, I saw you and him in the rain. You was doing a podcast and now never be the same. But I'm going to try to do this quickly, guys. I'm not going to try to keep you too long. My show yesterday went a little longer than what I thought it was going to go. I think I went like 44 minutes, 45 minutes. But I'm trying to break this down where I'm going at least about 15, 20 minutes, maybe 20 minutes and get this thing over with. So just give me a few minutes so I can get to my notes. But we're going to run this thing down, man. You know, NXT, what we saw is we saw a new layout, NXT, colorful. Look like Fruit Loops, big fruit roll-up, Fruity Pebbles, whatever you want to call it, man. It looks like they gave some kids some crayons and let them go to town, man. Let them go to town. We got a whole different ball game going on. You know, hey, you know, let me know in the comments what you think about it. And if you are seeing this on YouTube, you know, hit that like, that share, that subscribe, hit that notification bell. And if you on Facebook, man, you know, I would love to hear your comments and hit that, share, hit that like. And if you're on if you're on YouTube, go ahead and, leave your comments. So I'll try to get to your comments, talk to you a little bit. But let's go ahead and get into this NXT, man. The show started out, it was letting us know. They let us know about Samoa Joe and about him relinquishing the title. He had to relinquish the title because he's injured, so he relinquished the title. And in my preference, I wish they would have had a tournament and went for a few weeks or whatever, had a tournament for this title. But they ended up having a four-way. They decided to have a four-way match for this title, and the guys that they laid out who was going to be in this match was Tommaso Ciampa, Kyle O'Reilly, LA Knight, and Pete Dunne. So each one of these guys, man, they had a segment on. Each one of these guys had a talk backstage and pretty much gave their reasons why they think they should be the new NXT champion and what they're gonna do to make this thing happen, man. So, these they all felt that they deserved the shot, whether Samoa Joe had it or not. They was gonna go after Samoa Joe. I guess these in NXT's eyes, in WWE for NXT, I guess these are the guys who's on the top of the ladder for that title shot. I'm not sure if I actually agree with that 100%, but I haven't actually sat down and did my ratings. But I think a couple other people that should be in there, like Johnny Gargano and a couple other ones, probably in NXT, should be on that ladder, man. That should have had a shot for this title. But they went ahead and did that four-way, and we'll get into that later on in the show. But first match, man, we had but before the match, okay, the first match was LA Knight versus Braun Breaker. And LA Knight was back there when LA Knight was back in the back, and he was talking about this. He was talking about this four-way match, man, for the title, because he's all concentrating on the title and all that. But Braun Breaker came out there and interrupted LA Knight. And he was talking to LA Knight, and he's jumping around, man. He had this smile on his face. Kind of remind me a little bit of the new guy, Big E, who won. Well, Big E's not a new guy, but Big E, the new champion of Raw. Big E like to go and he shows up anywhere. He's jumping up in your face. And this guy, man, had that same kind of energy. Braun Breaker and LA Knight. LA Knight was like, what are you doing or whatever. And he just like, man, aren't you excited? Braun Breaker said, I'm excited. I'm having my, I just signed with WWE, NXT, and this is the place to be. And I got my first match tonight. And he pretty much was basically saying, I'm ready to wrestle somebody. And LA Knight, man, he even though he had his mind on this four-way match, man, and he knows he's going for the title later on that night. LA Knight was like, you go to that ring in about 2 minutes, and I'm gonna come in there and I'm gonna give you a match, and I'm gonna give you an introduction to wrestling. So basically, he's sitting there giving this guy a challenge because he's thinking it's gonna be an easy match for him to go in there, and he's gonna take care of this guy real quick, maybe get a warm up or whatever for the match he's gonna have later. But they went out there, man, and had their match. Braun Breaker, his actual name is Bronson Rick Steiner. Bronson Rick Steiner. He's actually Rick Steiner's son, and they actually, they didn't really acknowledge it, but one of the announcers said, this guy got the dog face gremlin thing on, because when the match got started, LA Knight started off, man. He had the advantage at first, showing the young man what he could do. But Braun Breaker, he pretty much, man, was able to reverse anything that LA Knight was able to do, and his power pretty much overtook LA Knight. LA Knight is not a small guy himself, man. He's a pretty powerful guy himself. But Braun Breaker, man, was able to he was able to shock this guy and pull off some things that LA Knight didn't expect. And he hit Braun Breaker hit him a few times with those Steiner lines. A basic clothesline, but we call it the Steiner line because it's the same thing. If you watch this guy, man, it was like watching Rick Steiner. He pretty much a lot of the carries that he picked him up, and he carried LA Knight, man, doing certain suplexes or certain drops, man, where he power dropped him in the ring, man. It looked a lot like the Steiner brothers, so you could tell that he got some training from Rick and Scott, maybe growing up. He Bronson Rick Steiner, he played football at Kennesaw State in Georgia. He played football. He played Division I football. He was a running back, but I think he was like a linebacker or something like that in high school. In high school, he wrestled the first 2 years in high school. He was a state champion in 9th grade, and I think he was state runner-up in 10th grade. But he didn't wrestle after that, and he didn't wrestle in college. But you could tell he still have a good amateur background. He has he has good knowledge of holds and things to do in that ring. So, man, he has right now, you can tell he's still green, man, but he has a good command of that ring. And he did well, man. But like I say, LA Knight tried to take him out. But this guy, man, he just overpowered LA Knight, and he shocked him. He took him, he body pressed him over his head, man, did a full press, and slammed him, power slammed him down to the mat. 1, 2, 3, over. So that was basically a shock. Braun Breaker won the match, man, and it looks like they want to pump this guy up, and they want to move him up the ladder quick, because at the end of the show, hey, Braun Breaker was out there again. So I think NXT is want to really put a move on this guy, and maybe has something to do with his family or whatever, but they are really looking at him and looking to move him up pretty quick. Next, we had Imperium, man, versus Brooks Jensen and Josh Briggs. And we know Imperium, man, they like a throwback tag team. You could go back when you see them, you think of tag teams like the Anderson brothers, Arn and Tully. You think about Ray Stevens and Pat Patterson or somebody like that. These guys are serious business when it comes to tag team wrestling. They want to bring back that they want to keep the integrity of wrestling, of the genre, I guess you could say, in the sport, man, of tag team wrestling. They want people to actually look at it as something serious. As like you looking at you when you look at something like Kenny, you look at Kenny Omega over in AEW, you look at Bobby Lashley when he was the champ, you look at Roman Reigns, you look at them with a certain, you look at them with a certain respect for wrestling. But now that sometimes I look at wrestling, man, and I see some of these tag teams, it's not saying they're not talented or whatever. It's like sometimes it looks like a circus a little. So Imperium is looking to bring the realness back into it, man. Bring the seriousness back into it. But like I said, I do like it like it is now. So I'm not trying to say I don't like it, but Imperium is that serious tag team, and they want to be seen as that. But the match against Brooks Jensen and Josh Briggs, two big guys, man, huge. We know Imperium, man, these guys are in great shape. They keep themselves slim. They you can tell they work out a good bit, man. Rather in the gym or whatever they're doing, going out running or whatever, they keep themselves in shape, man. You don't see a lot of fat on them or anything. But they was taking on two big guys, man. They was taking on Brooks Jensen and Josh Briggs. And Josh Briggs is like 6'8", man. I think this guy like 285, maybe between 270, 285. Brooks Jensen is like 6. I think he's 6'5". He's like 245, 250, or maybe a little more. But this was a pretty good match. Jensen and Briggs, man, these two guys are new, man. They haven't been in the business long. And what I'm saying is basically about new is they're new to NXT. They went, they was in that breakout tournament. And these guys, man, they tried to use their power. Imperium, man, did everything they could. They broke them down and all that. They broke the guys down to their size, man, and had them so they can wrestle more of their match. But Brooks Jensen and Josh Briggs did use a lot of power moves and everything like that, but it didn't work. Imperium got the win, and congratulations to them. So then we move on, man, to Hit Row. Hit Row finally we get to see B-Fab wrestle from Hit Row, the female, which none of us has seen her wrestle before. We've seen her get into a few things outside of the ring. But was it not last night, but the night before, she finally had a match, man. This match against Katrina Cortez. Not a bad match. It didn't last too long. The match was below average, and you could tell B-Fab still has a lot to learn. I don't know how long she's actually been training as a wrestler, and I don't know if Hit Row actually had in their mind, man, in their I don't know if that was actually part of their ball game to put her as a wrestler, but people actually did want to see what she could do. But now she, like I say, she had a first match, man, against Katrina Cortez. It was okay. It was a short match. Katrina was basically, man, I don't know. She really couldn't get too close. She was trying to get in close so she can use, she was a thicker lady, and she was trying to use her power a little bit more, but B-Fab, man, kept the match at a distance, which worked real well for her because she has long limbs. And she used her legs, man, got a lot good kicks in, and used the fist. And she took her out, man. And I get a match of 2.5 stars, B-Fab over Katrina Cortez. Then next, man, we had Cameron Grimes, Johnny Gargano, I call him Polka Dot Jones, man. I can't remember the big huge guy, man, who was in the finals of the tournament against the other guy, I can't think of the other guy named right now, but Cameron Grimes, Johnny Gargano, Polka Dot Jones, and Austin and Damian Priest all came out there, and basically they was talking about the wedding that's going to be later on in the night. These guys really into this wedding thing, and they was all there to support to support Dexter Lumis and Indy Hartwell's wedding. So it was some excitement there, and these guys, man, they were just ready. They were just ready, and they were talking among each other about things that they was going to do at the wedding later on. Then we had Carmelo Hayes come out, and that's who I was trying to think of that Polka Dot Jones actually wrestled and Carmelo in the tournament final, and Carmelo Hayes actually beat him. But Carmelo Hayes comes out with his new sidekick, a guy named Trick. I think his last name Trick Williams. And Trick Williams was basically telling Carmelo, man, you have to stop. You have to stop being soft, pretty much. Basically, he's saying, you wasn't like this in the neighborhood, man. You basically have to get back up to what you was, and man, and do your thing, pretty much. Trick Williams, he basically was laying down he basically was laying down a freestyle, man, doing a freestyle rap to pump Carmelo Hayes up and talking about what they're gonna do, and he was talking about what he's gonna do to back up Carmelo Hayes. And then we had Duke Hudson come out. They basically, after they had left the ring, after they was talking to the ring lady. They left the ring. They walking out, man. Duke Hudson come out. The guy from Australia. He come out and he told Carmelo Hayes. He said to Carmelo, he said, you was lucky. He said, you was lucky to get that win against me in the breakout tournament. So Duke Hudson going there, man, to have his match, and this Trick Williams guy just looked at Carmelo and said, "This is what I'm talking about." And he goes in there and jumps Duke Hudson. He's beating Duke Hudson down, and then Carmelo coming in. Carmelo, he's a little hesitant, man. He's a little hesitant, but Carmelo joins in, and man, they beat Duke Hudson down. I mean, they beat him down, man. And what's the name? Just kicking. I mean, the boot. I mean, the boot that Carmelo was laying to him, man, it's like he was kind of wondering what the fans are gonna think about this, man. Then he kind of like got into it. And they look like a couple thugs, man, off the streets, man. I mean, but Carmelo kind of looked out of place a little bit. But I think he was kind of like it seemed like he was the follower, but I think in the neighborhood he probably is the leader. But he was looking like the follower, man. And he was just laying these kicks and looking at Trick, man, for like I'm looking for your approval. But which I'm thinking Trick was probably the one who's looking for his approval all the time, as far as in the neighborhood, man. But hey, they attacked Duke Hudson, and we're gonna see what happens there, man. Is Duke gonna come back? Gonna go after Trick? Is he gonna go after Carmelo? Or are these guys, man, gonna try to run a path of destruction through NXT? We'll see how that goes down, man. Okay, next we had Casey Canizero and Caden Carter versus Gigi Dolan and JC James. And that match right there, it was a decent match, man, for a while. I mean, they sitting there and they both having a match. Casey and Caden, like I say, great teamwork, man. Been together for a good while. So that right there was to their advantage. But both of these ladies are very petite ladies. So and Dolan and Jane, man, they took advantage of that. They took advantage of that and used their size, man, to actually get the top, to get over on Casey and Caden. But Casey and Caden, when they finally got to the point where they looked like they was gonna win, man, with doing all the things they do as a tag team, man, all their teamwork seemed like they was taking Dolan and Jane out, man. Here comes Mandy Rose, and Mandy Rose, man, no blonde hair. Earlier we saw her, she was in a hood and everything like that. No blonde hair, man. Her hair is black. She looks totally different. She comes out there, and man, she interferes in the match. So boom, DQ. But then you had them walking outside of the ring, and not walking outside of the ring. What's the name come in? Mandy come in, and like I say, they both, all three of them, they're jumping Casey and Caden, and then Saray come out. And Saray came out there. That's when Saray and her involvement had Jane
Dolan, and Mandy Rose, they left the ring. And Saray and Casey and Caden was like, where are you going? Where are you going? So they actually ended up it actually being a 6-man tag team match, well, a 6-woman tag team match. So 3-on-3, which was a pretty good match, and pretty much turned out a lot, like I said before. Like I say, Casey and Caden, you know, petite women, and Saray, petite. But Saray, man, Saray pretty much came in there, and she was the class of the match. Saray was doing a lot of the things that she does. Man, you know, I love the way when she throws you to the ropes, she throws you into the turnbuckle, man. She comes right after that, and she comes with one of those drop kicks, man, devastating. So she's a very, very good opponent inside of that ring. She's very exciting to see. But you know, Gigi Dolan, JC Jane, and Mandy Rose, man, they ended up getting them, you know, winning the match. I give that match 4 stars. It was the best, probably the best match of the night. I think it was, I say it was the best match of the night. Okay, next, man, we had Pete Dunne and Ridge Holland. They attacked Kyle O'Reilly in the dressing room, and you know, basically they didn't want him in that. You know, Pete Dunne didn't want Kyle O'Reilly to go anywhere near that match, that final match, that 4-way match for the title. So Pete Dunne and Ridge Holland, man, they attacked him and injured him in the dressing room. And Pete Dunne, man, I mean, lately he's been on a tear as far as attacking people. Because last week, man, he actually attacked his guys, man, the tag team that used to hang out with him because they lost the match. So he attacked them. So man, we didn't do that show. So that's the show that we missed. But yeah, Pete Dunne, like I say, he's been on a tear, man. Next we had Ridge Holland, who's in that crew, man, with Pete Dunne and company.
Match. He took on Drake Maverick, man. That was a match that shouldn't have happened, but hey, I give Drake Maverick a lot of credit. You know, he's a small guy, but the guy has a lot of fire, man, and you know, he did everything he could to try to stay in there with Ridge Holland, man. But Ridge Holland is like a monster, man, and pretty much all Ridge Holland did was use kicks, you know, arm bars, man, and just use his fists, and he just pretty much took Drake out. And anything that Drake tried to do, man, he just grabbed him and picked him up like a rag doll, threw him around like a rag doll, and just basically used his power, man, and took him out. Very short match, man. I give that match a 3.5, man, because you know, I basically would give Drake Maverick like a 4.5, but because Ridge wasn't, I mean, not Ridge, but Drake, he was only able to get a minuscule, you know, maybe a little small bit of offense, man, in this match. So, like I said, I got to give that match a 3.5. And let's see, Sam Lee Masters. I thought NXT 2.0 was a very good show. It wasn't too bad, Sam. I mean, it really wasn't, Sam Lee. I thought it was a pretty good show. I don't know about the colors, man. The color scheme. You know, what do you think about the color scheme? The color scheme kind of like threw me off a little. But I mean, I like the way that it actually showcases the ring. You know, it makes the ring look a lot bigger, man. And I like the way they got I like the way they have the audience spaced out now. So that actually looked good, and I think the colors will actually grow on everybody after a while. I think it'll grow on people after a while. But I really thought NXT last week was really good. The last 2 weeks, I think it's been pretty good. I mean, you know, they said they changed some things, but I don't think they've changed too much so far. Not so much to where you can be uninterested in the show. I mean, I'm still interested in the show. Yeah, that's the only thing I have so far is the color scheme, man. But from what I'm hearing, most people enjoyed it. I mean, most people enjoyed the wrestling. But like say, you know, it's just the fruity colors. But like say, that's something, man. That's something, like say, maybe that's innovative. being here in 2021, that's something that they're trying, and that's something that's new, and that's something that needs to be as far as in this time that we're in now. So who knows? But okay, next, man, I really enjoy these this next match. This tag team that Michael Bivens has brought in. I really enjoy these guys, man. Julius and Brutus Creed. I saw them last week. Like I say, we didn't get to do the show, man, and I wanted to talk about these guys. But these guys are great. You know, they're new. I mean, you know, they just got you. They haven't been in the business long. One of them graduated from Duke University, and I can't remember where the other one graduated from. He graduated from a good university too, but they both was wrestlers in NCAA wrestlers. Brutus Creed actually went undefeated. I don't know what Julius actually done well too, as far as he was one of the top guys in the NCAA as far as in wrestling, man. But these guys are something special. I mean, I see great things out of these two, and it's kind of ironic, man, that you have Braun Rechsteiner actually that in NXT too, because these two guys remind me of the Steiner brothers, man. Except for, like, say, the Steiner brothers, when they came out there, the Steiner brothers was, I guess you could say, yeah, the Steiner brothers had that killer instinct, but these guys have a killer instinct on another level. They want to destroy everybody that they get into the ring with. And man, I'm really impressed with them, man. And they was wrestling Dan Jorman and Trevor Skeely. They called them a couple local guys, local competitors. I guess they from some, maybe indie wrestling or whatever, and they got their shot on NXT, man. But they devastated these guys, man. As far as Brutus and Julius, I give them a 5, but because the team they wrestled, man, couldn't even generate any offense at all, I give it a 4. I give it 4 stars. And let me check out what else. Let's see. Sam, you said, I do not mind it. I'm just happy the set is not the same as Raw and SmackDown. I was hoping they would have brought back the late 2019 set for SmackDown. Yes. Well, yeah, that's true, man. I mean, it's totally different. It sets it apart from SmackDown and Raw, and that's what they need to do. I agree with you 100% on that. I mean, it should be something totally different. I didn't want. That's one thing I was afraid of when I heard that NXT was that Vince was coming in. He was taking over, or he basically pretty much coming in to put a lot of his input in. And so, him coming in, putting his input in, that they're going to go with a lot of the things that Vince say. And so I was kind of worried a little bit about, is he going to change it too much? So all it really looked like is he just changed he changed the surroundings of it. He changed the outlook of it. So it looks a little different. It looks different. And I mean, I think he's bringing in some bigger guys with that. And I think that's the reason that they had that breakout tournament, because a lot of these guys that was in that breakout tournament are big guys, but he did keep some small guys actually in NXT. So it's a good mixture there. But Sam, I mean, NXT is not going anywhere. As far as WWE is not going anywhere, but NXT, man, is here to stay. And I think the ratings, man, it's gonna stay at a decent level. So like I say, I'm with you, brother. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it too, man. I enjoyed the night. Then next we had Michael Bivens. He bragged about the Creed brothers after the match, and man, he talked about them, and then he talked about his he has a new charge, man. He had a female called Ivy now, and he had her show off her little pecs or whatever. She's a petite young lady, but she's in very good shape, man, and I look forward to seeing her. And anybody out there who's seen her before, let me know. I think he was saying she came off one of these reality shows, man, one of these reality competitions, sports entertainment competitions or something like that. I don't know if she's wrestled yet or she's been in any indie shows or whatever, but I look forward to seeing her. Then we had Kushida, man. He came out and he challenged Roderick Stone of the Diamond Mine. He challenged him with his title. And like I said, he the one who has the title, but he wants to get Roderick Stone in that ring. And like I say, we've seen them two go at it before. but he's challenging him and he's putting up his title, man. And we know what Roger Stone brings to the table, man. I mean, this guy is man, he's something special. But hey, Kushida is something special too. He can do a lot of great things in that ring, man. Got a lot of that, a lot of those high flying moves, man. That Japanese favor. Roger Stone is strong as a throwback, man. He's a Chris Benoit, Dean Malenko type on a lower spectrum of Dean Malenko. I mean, he doesn't have all the moves that Dean Malenko has, man, but he reminds me of that, that type of wrestler. He can do so many things. So it's going to be interesting, man, and it's a feud that I'm looking forward to, and I hope it goes on for a little while. So next we go on to the 4-way NXT Championship. And like I said at the beginning, I wish this was basically more of a tournament. But hey, it's okay that it was a 4-way match, man. We had Tommaso Ciampa versus Pete Dunne versus LA Knight versus Von Wagner. And Von Wagner is the guy that went back there to check on Kyle O'Reilly. And Von Wagner was the guy that ended up getting the shot, man, to actually come into this match. I know people call him William Regal right now, but I still want to call him Lord Steven Regal. But that's his name, William Steven Regal. Basically told him that, he had a shot. So they go into the match, man. And at the beginning of the match, man, LA Knight pretty much was establishing himself as, hey, this thing is mine. Even though, like I say, he lost earlier, which they shouldn't have had him in that match, and he lost that match because that did not look good for him, man. That really didn't look good for LA Knight to lose early on, and then he was going to be in the championship match, man, later on. I mean, that was just flat out crazy if you ask me. But hey, he come in there, man. LA Knight, he got the early advantage. Actually, he looked like he was the star of that 4-way at first, man. I mean, he was the one who actually shined. But then, like I say, man, and then that Von Wagner guy seemed like he took over, man, and he was shining. I mean, he's a big guy, man. He's like 6'5", 255 pounds. Von Wagner, man, was actually doing his thing, man. New guy. No, I mean, new to the sport. Well, haven't been in the sport that long, or new to at least this type of competition. But Von Wagner, man, he just really he turned it on. He turned it on, and I mean, he got and Pete Dunne. Then Pete Dunne came in there. He was doing this thing. Thing about Pete Dunne, I really like Pete Dunne. I think he's a tough guy. One thing about him though, man, it kind of like got to me a little bit. What is this guy about? What is Pete Dunne with fingers, man? This guy love to get people's fingers, bend their fingers and things like that. But still, hey, if he get a hold of your fingers, that's gonna slow you down. That's gonna slow you down as far as you doing your punches or anything that you want to do with your hands. It's gonna he's gonna, it handicaps you to where you have to use, maybe use your forearms and use kicks or whatever, man, or use arm drags or whatever. So it's a great strategy, man. But it's just something about him, man, with this finger snapping thing, man. Just I'm like, come on, man, just that's something like that. I done kind of like got tired of seeing. He does it a good bit. But then Tommaso Ciampa, man, he like very tough competitor, man. I've liked him since I first saw him. He's great with in tag team action with his partner, man. But this right here is a solo thing. He's the only one that's been in there, and he's been a champion before. So he's going for his second NXT championship. And Tommaso Ciampa, man, he wasn't going to be denied in there, man. And he pretty much, like say, after he took out LA Knight, man, him and Pete Dunne together went and took out Von Wagner, both with a forearm shot, man, a running forearm shot from both ring posts. Each one of them at separate ring posts, and he went running and hit him with a forearm shot. And that was it for Von Wagner, man. So then it was Tommaso Ciampa versus Pete Dunne, man. And two tough guys. Didn't know who actually was going to win this thing. A lot of people was thinking Pete Dunne was going to win this because Pete Dunne's contract is actually coming up in a few months in NXT. So I think it's coming up in December or in January. So they was thinking maybe Vince was going to put the title on Pete Dunne because Pete Dunne is actually negotiating his contract. and and from what I understand, he wants to stay with NXT. But it didn't turn out that way, man. Tommaso Ciampa, he got his due, became the champion, man, and congratulations to him. And let me see, Sam, if you said something else. I think you did. You said I'm worried about Ciampa, as I do not think he wants to go to the main roster, but I cannot see him staying in NXT for very long. I agree with you, man. I agree with you 100%. That's what I was thinking, man. The whole time, I'm sitting there thinking that Ciampa, man, he's he feels, or with his experience and how long he's been in the business and how long he's been been on top in NXT, that it's time for him to move on. And so I mean, I have no idea, man. So wow, it's going to be interesting to see. I think he should stay down in NXT for a little while longer. Let's see. Let's see. Pete has signed a new 3-year contract, as I've heard. Oh, okay, cool. So I don't know if Pete Dunne, like I say, Pete Dunne, he's one of these guys too that probably should move up. I mean, he maybe have signed a 3-year contract. I know they was working on it. I mean, just a couple weeks ago, they were still working on it. So if he signed a 3-year deal, man, then he either, like I say, either going to be in NXT for the next 3 years, or he's going to be moving up. But I think with his faction, man, with, he's got Ridge Holland, and then he has, he pretty much eliminated those other guys, man. I cannot remember the guy's name, though, that tag team that was under him. He pretty much eliminated those guys, man, took them out, so they're not going to be with him anymore. So, but I can see Pete Dunne adding more people to the faction, man, but he's a leader. He's a leader, man, and I mean, he's going to be a force to be reckoned with. So I think he can go along with that maybe for another year or so, as far as leading that group and dominating NXT and being pretty much being a nuisance, man, to Tommaso Ciampa or whoever else gets the title. And then I believe he basically going to end up with the title, or like say, he's going to end up ruling the tag team division. But his faction actually probably end up running the whole thing, man, for a while. I mean, the way I look at it, he's going to be hard to stop, man, because he looks for perfection and devastation out of his group. He looks, he don't want competition. He wants to completely annihilate his opponents. And he wants his charge, man. He wants his guys to completely annihilate the competition. So it's going to be interesting to see what he does with his faction, what Michael Bivens does with his faction. And like I say, we know Tommaso Ciampa, man, he's he's going to do his thing, and look like he want to be a little maybe solo right now, man, but he has backup too. Hey, it's going to be interesting, man. And what's the name? The women's division is strong in NXT, so I still look forward to a lot more live, strong action from NXT, man, within the next next couple years. I don't know what if WWE is going to sell or whatever, but whoever, man, if they're gonna sell it or they're gonna keep it, like say, keep NXT going strong, keep them on the channel, because I heard something about contracts coming up. So hopefully, man, they can keep that on on USA Network, and not find a equal channel to keep it going just as strong as it is right now. Pete, yeah, okay, all right, all right, Sam, I appreciate you. I appreciate your input, man, and talking to me and everything like that. And everybody else, man, that's out there. If you see this, hit that like, that share. If you're on Facebook, if you're on YouTube, hit that like, that share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, man, so we can continue to come back at you with some more videos. And hopefully, the next video that I want to do, I'm gonna talk about Chief Wahoo McDaniel, Mil Mascaris, a couple of the guys that the Anderson brothers, when I first started watching wrestling, and what got me excited and what got me involved in that. And I think I'm gonna probably get with Chris Burton, man, my partner Chris Burton, and have him do a show, or we're gonna get together and do the show together, and I'm talk to Michael King and have him do a show on that. But very interesting things that I have coming up, that we have coming up. It was an organization that called IWA that I had went back. I talked to a guy. I talked to a friend of mine, Danny Paris. He was talking about IWA, and that's something that I really enjoyed when I was a kid, man. Between 1974 and 1978, and I was thinking about that a couple days ago, man. And he pretty much, we was talking on the phone. He pretty much brought it up, so I went back into some old archives as far as on YouTube to check it out. But they don't have the whole thing, and Danny telling me he has the whole library, but he has to find it. So if he does, man, woo, that's some great stuff that we can show and do some reporting on. So let me check out. All right, Lee, thank you. Yeah, it was great to talk, man. And like I say, once again, man, this is Harry Bernard Taylor for the Straight Up Wrestling Show. I'm going solo tonight. I don't have my man Michael King or my man Christopher Burton with me tonight, but I appreciate everybody tuning in, and we'll see you next time. I'm out of here.